Hello everyone, Ian Iliona here. Another day in Los Angeles, and by Los Angeles I mean Seattle. Not much going on today. Slept okay, I guess. Getting used to the new normal of less sleep, just recharging my energy. But what I did want to talk about was, I think it was the Superman 2 or 3. No, it was definitely Superman 3, because Superman 4 was supposed to be peace. Superman 2 was the one where he gave up his powers for Lois Lane. And everyone was like, but it's Margot Kidder, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to save it for Adrienne Barbeau or, I don't know, anyone? Like, you're Superman, you could literally have anyone, but you're doing it for Lois. Okay, we get that. But yeah, I think it was Superman 3. It was the one with Richard Pryor, where the plot of it, spoiler alert for such an old movie, was what if a very, very smart man of color decided to take every penny that companies were ignoring and just write a check. And there were a lot of pennies. And I know that was a huge thing, you know. He's like, I'm rich. But looking back on that movie, I just want to say, no, you're losing. You're absolutely losing. Because you're missing out on what it means to be poor. When you're poor, you have to make strategic decisions with every meal. Some people go the route of, well, I'll eat whatever you can supply from a vending machine. While others, they make the decision, no, let me eat healthy. Let me make a decision to eat properly, so therefore I'm getting nutrition instead of just wasting my goddamn money because I don't have a lot of it. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You know, it's nice to have money. I mean, I have my meals specially made at Starbucks, so that is nice. But I only try to eat the healthy things there. I could try and eat, you know, the regular food, but no. I try to eat as carefully and thoughtfully as possible. Because I have this body. It's mine, it belongs to me. I have to take some pride in it, because it's the only one I have. When you eat junk food, when you eat food that's inherently bad for you, you're pretty much saying, I don't care about my own body. And you don't want to say that, so you should care about your body. So I encourage people, yeah, eat often, eat what you like, but make sure you spend some time thinking about the ramifications of what happens when you eat well. When you eat well, you feel better. I had this thought before I did this podcast that I was going to talk about scent, because it was very unfortunate that in the middle of the night, because I sleep at a homeless shelter, it's long story. But either way, in the middle of the night, I have some old men fucking spraying, I don't know, deodorant or perfume. It was some funky nonsense. But you don't know the power of your own funk. If you eat well, and I mean really eat well, and exercise and sweat, your sweat is more alluring, more addictive than any cologne or perfume that you could buy. The most expensive cologne or perfume does not compare to the sweaty gym clothes of a man or a woman who eats properly, has the hormones in balance. You can smell the difference. Trust, you can smell the difference. And we spend a lot of money on deodorants and all these things to mask our smell. It's like you're not masking the smell, you're masking your malnutrition. If you were eating properly, then the sweat that you have is worth more than gold, because you could walk up to anyone and that scent would be your conversation starter. You see their eyes dilate, the pupils, because they recognize your health automatically. Something to think about. So every time you take a whiff of your pit and you're not happy with it, it's because you're malnourished and your body is trying to push out all those bad toxins, but they do it straight through your pores, through your skin. And your sweat glands are just removing all those bad elements from your bloodstream. But if you eat well, then sometimes, not always, because it might take a while. It might take a very long while. But eventually, you reach a point where the sweat that you have is natural aphrodisiacs, natural alluring scents. That's how we used to operate. You know, there was no cologne, there was no deodorant, there was no perfume. You just had your natural scent, and people would respond to that. You would get married over that. You smell a person far before you ever saw them, and if they smelled well, I guess that tells you a lot. And somehow we fell off that. And then we've shamed each other for it. Shamed each other for having bad smells instead of saying, like a doctor should. This is why I was supposed to be in medical school, and I still want to, but I can't ignore the fact that these are the conversations you're supposed to have with your patients. Now, it might seem odd for a doctor to walk in, ask you some questions, and then sniff your armpit. But there used to be a time when your doctor drank your fucking urine. Why? Because they didn't have a diabetes test. So they would smell or drink your urine in order to get the taste. It's disgusting to hear about, but that saved lives because they didn't know what diabetes was at the time. They had no word for it. They had no science to detect it. But they did have their olfactory senses. But we ignore that because we think it's beneath us to sniff things. We have senses on par with dogs. We dampen that sense all the time. We overload it. It's not that dogs smell better, it's that we are so overstimulated by it that we can't differentiate. But you could train that. You could train that like any other skill. It's really easy to, I think I kind of have the right of way here, but I should be pressing the button. Whatever. There it is. Either way, what you want to do is make sure that you stop wasting your money on deodorants, because deodorants are telling you that it's okay to have bad nutrition. It's okay to have bad food coming out your pores if you could cover it up with something else. And that's never good, because all that bad smell, that's your body saying, I'm ill, I'm famished, I'm hungry. I was on TikTok and I believe his name is Jonah. I can't pronounce your last name. But he had a post of, I'm always hungry. Now I look at him and he clearly eats. But then when he says that he's always hungry, you just say, Are you sure you're just not receiving the right nutrition? Are you sure you're not eating the right things? Because if you're always hungry, then most of the time you're just not eating the right things. You're looking for a nutrient. Like, your body takes control of you sometimes. And it can't relate to you, oh, I need more zinc, or I need more calcium. It doesn't. But with your gut flora, it can tap things and say, oh, well, remember cheese? Okay, we'll go get some cheese. Or, you know what, I could really go for some nuts right now. I could go for some seeds. I gotta get my zinc and magnesium on. I could go for that. It will tap your memory center and then make you have a craving. That's the level of ecosystem that you have. Once you realize you're a part of it and you start listening, everything changes. My name is Ian Leona. I'm an environmentalist, a human rights activist, a mutant, a werewolf, owl. I'm a veteran with PTSD from military sexual trauma. I'm not getting any better. I don't know. I normally talk about whatever PTSD event that set me in a bad mood. But today I said, let me just talk about health and nutrition, because I want to transform my channel. I'll do my best to stay out of situations which exacerbate my fucking PTSD, but that's PTSD. You just, anything and everything will trigger you. But if I can relay as much life-saving information and lessons, and that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do with my time here in this city, and just spend it talking about what you can do to improve your health. So I hope to see you on the next podcast. Kisses. See you.